Welcome to second part of module 4. In this part we will discuss about network design decisions using decision tree analysis. In the previous part we discussed about two models, cost minimization model and profit maximization model, and we could understand how the difference in profit will vary to some extent when we choose cost minimization model or the profit maximization model. In this part we will discuss about decision taking using decision trees. I owe a thank to many people who have helped me in completing this PPT. I have taken their reference either from the videos or in the form of PPTs or in the form of textbooks, notes, and this is exclusively used for the purpose of education. Now we will discuss about the impact of uncertainty in network design. Okay, what is uncertainty? Uncertainty is unpredictability. We are not sure what is going to happen. Even if we predict something, we are not sure it is going to happen in that way. So in management, we normally we say that if anything is certain in this world is uncertainty. So if at all there is anything certain, it is uncertainty. So that is what as a manager you people need to keep in your mind. Okay, and many of these situations will get entangled in such a way that whatever the earlier decisions we have taken, we may have to change it due to innumerable number of reasons. The best example is the current situation of pandemic. Okay, 2020 March it started. No one had anticipated what would be the situation, but even after 1 year, that is June 2021, we are still in such a dilemma that what will happen to the entire world in the coming years. And in addition to one virus, there are many other viruses coming, mutations are happening, and all of a sudden the world is going towards lockdown, and that will affect the industries to a great extent. The economy of the nation will be hit. All these things are because of uncertainty. Okay, so facility design decisions are not out of these uncertainties. You might have thought that I will set up a facility today in a particular state, in a particular place, and normally they are all long term in nature, strategic in nature, but all of a sudden you may have to alter your decision. Best example I can quote is Tata Nano's plant, which was planned at Singur at West Bengal. But what happened due to political uncertainty, they had to shift it to Gujarat. And who knows, after some time they may start failing, they may start finding difficulty in Gujarat. So many companies who had started their companies in China, they are mulling of shifting it from China to other countries. Why? Many reasons again. Yuan is becoming stronger and stronger, due to which the companies who have started export oriented units, they are not finding any advantages over there. And another factor is that the political influence in China, it's not very, that may not be very supportive. So many reasons could be there. Okay, so similarly, whenever we take a decision on facility design, it may have to be decided for a long term, but it cannot be very stringent also. Projections of cost, price, and demand over a longer horizon usually have a lot of uncertainties associated with those numbers. As and when the time period increases, the uncertainty is also higher. So we cannot predict what is going to happen in next month. How can we predict what is going to happen in next year? How can we predict what is going to happen in another 10 years? So it's highly impossible. People had not thought of the mobile phones just about 20 years ago, but now everyone is having a smartphone with them. Within 20 years, the communication sector has changed the lives of people. So this is reality. So as and when the time horizon is longer, uncertainties will also be higher. And international network design, foreign exchange rates, demand, prices, and government policies affect relative cost structure significant, and predicting the same is extremely difficult, if not impossible. That's what I have just explained you. Two cases. One case with the companies shifting from China to other parts of the world, and Tata Nano shifting from Singur to Anand in Gujarat, and many companies who had started their startup in Bangalore, they shifted to Hyderabad because of better opportunities in Hyderabad and 24-hour power, unstoppable or unlimited power supply. Okay, so that was the promise given by Chandrababu Naidu. So many companies who had started in Bangalore, they shifted to Hyderabad. At that point of time, about 6-7 years ago, the power problem in Karnataka was horrible. Okay, now it has improved a lot, right? So these are all many reasons which will make the uncertainty to creep in with the facility design. Though the cost of living, inflation, and other rates are likely to vary in different regions within a country, the extent of variation is likely to be of very low magnitude, while from country to country it is very high. Say for example, the inflation, the cost of living, all of them could vary within the country, within one state also. So for example, the cost of living of Bangalore is different, cost of living of Mysore is different, Mangalore is different, Mudbidre, New Delhi, Mumbai, they're all cost of living is entirely different. Even though the inflation may not vary within the country, but the cost of living will definitely vary. And because of that cost of living, the companies may think of setting up their facility at tier 2, tier 3 cities. Okay, so all these things will play a role while designing the decisions, and they're all uncertain. Today one part of the country is doing good, but later anything may happen to that part of the country, and we may shift our focus to something else. So we do not know. That's what uncertainty is certain. So there are several ways in which firms can handle these issues. See, first of all, Toyota has introduced greater flexibility in its plants worldwide. That is, a plant should be able to produce models that are required in the domestic market, but also be able to produce models for few export markets. This is a what we term it as mixed model scheduling. Toyota follow a concept called as mixed model scheduling. What do? They mix the models. Few models are exclusively for the domestic market, few models are exclusively for the export market, so that they can balance both the domestic market as well as export market. If domestic market falls, they will concentrate more on the export market. If the export market falls, they can concentrate more on the domestic market. So it is not that you set up a company only to cater need of that particular region or that particular territory. No, that is wrong. You should always think of setting up a plant with global perspective. Okay, another example is LG's example. LG also has set up an exclusive unit in China, in India, exclusively for exports. Okay, wherein 70% of its production was from China till 2017, but later it has shifted its base to India, and now Hyundai has done the same thing, LG has done the same thing. Many people are shifting to India because India is being seen as a better place to work with. Laborers are skilled and laborers can be molded to any particular thing. Let me give you one example. Okay, and one of my student who was working in a manufacturing company at Ahmedabad, Vadodara and Ahmedabad, they had brought two CNC machines, high-tech machines, to their company. But when they produced the parts from a high-tech machine and when they compared it with manually prepared parts, they were all really shocked. Manually prepared parts had better finishing and better tolerance limits than CNC machined parts. The reason is that Indian laborers are highly skilled and they can be molded. Only thing is that human beings cannot work for the 8 hours continuously. Machines can do that better. So that's why high-tech machines are necessary. But that doesn't say that they can replace the existing skill level of human beings. At Toyota, when I visited the factory, hardly machines are seen. The in assembly section, it's entirely occupied with employees. Robots are not at all there. Robots are seen only at painting section, welding section, only at such crucial sections, hazardous environment sections, not in assembly sections. They just rub their hand on the bonnet and see whether, and they can very distinctly say that there is any crack on the surface or there is any dent on the surface, and it is the expertise to which they have gained. They have been trained to that extent. Even today, Japanese do not depend on too much of automation and machinery. See, this is the skill set of India, and that's why people are planning to shift to India. Okay, and India could be a hub for foreign companies in another 5 to 6 years down the line. Now, evaluating network design decisions using decision trees. Why this decision tree occurs? What is the need of that? When do we need to use this decision tree analysis, abbreviated as DTA? Let us try to understand all those things. In any global supply chain, demand, prices, exchange rates, and several other factors are uncertain. Demand may vary all of a sudden, prices may vary, exchange rates obviously it will vary, and all of a sudden, even though the entire country is under lockdown, gold prices are increasing. Who had predicted that? Everyone had thought that gold prices will fall. But gold price is not restricted to domestic market. It has a global market, and anything that goes wrong in the global market, gold will have the effect. And we are importing nearly 90% of the gold. Our domestic requirement, domestic demand is met with imports only. 90% of the total requirement is met with imports only. When that is the case, obviously gold prices will fluctuate. Okay. If uncertainty is ignored, manager will always sign long-term contracts which are cheaper. But is that correct? That's the question a manager has to put. Of course, whenever it is a long-term contract, it is obviously cheaper, because the person with, or the organization with whom we are signing the contract, they are also assured of business for a long term. We are also assured of good quality for a long term. So it's a win-win situation. We will also get the benefit, the manufacturer will also get the benefit, the supplier will also get the benefit. But what is the risk? Risk is uncertainty. Such decisions can hurt the firm. However, if future demand or prices are not as forecast at the time of decision, as we have not forecast the uh, prices and the demand at the time of signing the agreement, the decision may affect the future of the firm. So as a result, what we may have to see is that even though this is a long term agreement, every year both the parties will agree to revise the situation. They may add one clause like that. If they add one clause every year, the agreement is subject for revision. It is thus important to provide a methodology that allows managers to incorporate this uncertainty into their network design process. What is that? It is the decision tree, or it's a graphic device, a simple tool to evaluate decisions under uncertainty. A decision tree, what happens? It takes care of various aspects to take a decision. What could be the different probabilities, what could be the various ways of taking the decision, what could be the different possible decisions that are available, different routes that are available to arrive at a decision, and they all take care of this discounted cash flows. Okay, if they take care of discounted cash flows, then the decision will still be better. Okay, and its flow decision discount cash flow analysis is based on the fundamental premise that 1 rupee today is worth more than 1 rupee tomorrow. It's as simple as that. In the sense, whatever the amount I have today, it is worth differently tomorrow. Means the purchasing power of a currency keeps on changing. Normally it reduces. Okay, what that does, that indicate whatever the quantity I could have purchased with 100 rupees 10 years ago, I cannot purchase the same quantity with the same 100 rupees today. Similarly, I cannot purchase the same quantity that I have purchased today after 10 years. So today's worth is more than tomorrow's worth. Yesterday's worth was more than today's worth. That is discounted cash flow. Okay, discounted cash flow can be incorporated into decision tree analysis also. Let us understand what is decision tree analysis. DTA, commonly called as methodology, is summarized as follows. First, identify the duration of each period, whether it is monthly or quarterly or yearly, like that, and the number of periods T over which the decision is to be evaluated. So how many such periods have to be there, that we have to identify. Next, identify factors such as demand, price, exchange rate, whose fluctuations could be considered over next T number of periods. What are all the factors that I would like to consider? All those factors must be incorporated. Next, identify representations of uncertainty for each factor, that is, determine what distribution to use the model to model the uncertainty. So I have to identify the uncertainty and include that in my decision making while creating the model. Then identify the periodic discount rate K for each period if it is to be considered. Some of the decision tree analysis do not consider that. Some of the decision tree analysis will consider discounted cash flow. Represent the decision tree with defined states in each period as well as the transition probabilities between states in successive periods. What does that mean? Represent the decision tree with defined states in each period as well as the transition probabilities between states in successive periods. So what is present today and what could happen tomorrow, that is the next period. What could be there in the next period with the discounted cash flow, that should also be predicted. And starting at period T, that is the last period, okay, work back to period 0. That means it is reverse analysis, okay. It is not forward analysis, it's a backward type of analysis. We move from the time period t and move back to time period 0, one after the other. When we take up the problem, you will understand that in a better way. Let us take the first example. A manager must decide on the size of a video arcade to construct. Video arcade in the sense a music hall or something like that, or a movie theater or something like that. The manager has narrowed the choices to two, large or small, whether to build a large arcade or a small arcade. Demand can be either low or high, okay. And see, demand in the sense more people may visit the arcade or less people may visit the arcade. And with probabilities of 0.4 and 0.6, the probability of low demand is 40%, probability of high demand is 60%. So probability of high demand is high. If small facility is built, okay, just in case, if a small facility is built and if the demand is low, the payoff is assumed to be, or is observed to be, or it is predicted to be 40,000 rupees. Okay, if the demand is high, okay, and if you build a small facility, then there are three options. Do nothing, that means go ahead with it, don't change anything, let it be there even though the demand is high. You continue with the small facility, you will get 40,000 rupees. Next option is do overtime, in the sense instead of one show you go with 2 shows or 3 shows like that. That will help you to earn more. So that means your payoff will become 55,000, that is indicated in the bracket here, 55 multiplied by 1000. Or the third option is expand it. So since you have seen the demand is high and you have built a very small music arcade, you can expand it. When you expand that, obviously you can earn more, that will also be equal to 55,000. So these are all the options when you build the small facility. Okay, now if a large facility is built, what are all the various conditions? Okay, and if the demand is low, you have two options, either to do nothing or reduce the price. Now what has happened, you have built a large facility by spending more money and the demand is low. You whatever you had anticipated, that much demand is not coming. Again you have two options. First, to do nothing. Okay, let us wait. Today the demand may be low, in another 1 year it may increase, let me not take any action as of now, but the payoff is very less, just 10,000. Or else, since the demand has come down, in order to attract the people, you better reduce the price. Instead of 100 rupees per ticket, you make it as 75 rupees per ticket. That may attract more crowd. Just for the reason you have invested too much, don't keep the ticket price very high, reduce it. That is another strategy. Okay, reduce the price, so your payoff will become 50,000. And these are the two options that may occur when the demand is low. If the demand is high and you have built a large facility, then the payoff is 70,000. This is the example, this is the problem. Now you have to analyze everything like this. Okay, once you get this data, then I have to analyze and determine which initial alternative, should I build small or should I build large. So in order to maximize the expected monetary value, so what is my intention now? My intention is to make the or maximize the monetary value. So that is my intention. So how to solve this problem? Let us see. So this is the problem. I have already explained the problem to you. First, understand the problem clearly. once you understand the problem, then building the decision tree or constructing the decision tree and solving the problem will be very easy. Okay, first let us understand how to construct a decision tree. Okay, first what is the first thing? You see, decision tree will have two types of nodes. First one is the decision point, whether I have to build small or build large. I have to start a building in Mysore or Bangalore, like that. Okay, these are the decisions. Should I start with a capacity of 100, or should I start with go ahead with a capacity of 200? It's a decision. So square node indicates decision points. Okay, next is the round nodes, chance events. That means if you construct a large unit, what are the three probabilities? Probability is a chance event. The probability of this is 50%, probability of this is 10% low. It could be low or high. Probability of low or high, it's a chance event. Then I will use round node. Okay, first what I have to take, always start with a square node, because you have to take a decision. What is the decision you have to take? You have to construct either large or small. First indicate that. Build small, draw a line, indicate building small, draw another line on the opposite direction, build large. So now I have to take a decision. Square node indicates it's a decision point. I have to take two decisions, either building small or building a large unit. Now if I build a small or large unit, then again two probabilities occur. What are those two probabilities? It could be either low or high demand. Demand could be either low or high. Indicate that. How to indicate that? Again, two lines. It could be low demand or it could be high demand. Similarly, under building large, it could be low demand and it could be high demand. See now, where have we stood? Either I can go for a small building. If I build a small building, I may face either low demand having a probability of 40%, indicate that here as 0.4, or I may have a high demand with a probability of 0.6 or 60%, indicate that here. Similarly, if I build a large building, then also I could have a low demand or a high demand. So probabilities are as usual 40% for the low demand and 60% for the high demand. Now look at the problem. If a small facility is built and at low demand, what is that? The payoff is 40,000. If the small facility is built and the low demand, what is that? The payoff is 40,000. Okay, let us indicate that later. If the demand is high, so that means as soon as you get the payoff, that line ends. Okay, so now where is this thing then? If the demand is high, then there are three options. See, there are three options now. I have to take three decisions. Which is the first decision? See, now building this small building and the demand is high. I have to arrive at three decisions. There are three options again, which are that do nothing, or do overtime, or expand. Okay, now if I build a large facility, now I have completed the building the small facility. Okay, now let us come to building a large facility. If I build a large facility and the demand is low, you have two options. Okay, where is that? Building a large facility is here, demand is low is here. Now you have two options. What is the first option? Do nothing. What is the second option? Reduce prices. See here, do nothing and reduce prices. That is considered now. At high demand, the payoff is 70,000. So if I build a large facility and the demand is high, there is no further decision to be taken. So that line ends there itself. Now let us indicate the payoffs of each end point. So now the entire circuit is over, entire network is over. So at the end of each line, I have to indicate the payoff. Okay, let us start with first one. See, building small, demand is high, do nothing. What is that? Building small, do nothing, 40. Indicate that here. Then overtime 55,000. Indicate that here. Expand 55. Indicate that here. And then come to building large, demand is low, do nothing, payoff is 10,000. It is indicated here. See, do nothing, 10,000. Reduce the prices, the payoff is 50,000. So now all these lines have been ended. Where else do we need to indicate? One is here and one is here. These are the two things. Okay. Now let us see what is the payoff there. Payoff is already given there. Just I have to indicate that. So if the demand is high, the payoff is 70,000. If the building is small and the demand is also low, the payoff is 40. That is here. See, payoff is 40. So I have indicated all the payoffs. Now I have to start backward interpolation or backward calculation. So this is the current period, say period 0. This is the period 1. This is the period 2. Okay. In this case, cash discounts are not considered. Cash discount case I will take it at a later stage. Okay. This is a very simple diagram, simple decision tree diagram or decision tree. Now, if I consider the building small and the demand is high, then I have three options. Which of these three options shall I choose? I have to choose that option in order to maximize the expected monetary value. If I do nothing, what is the monetary value I get? 40,000. Do overtime, 55,000. Do expansion, 55,000. So I can not select this. This has to be rejected because it has a lower monetary value. Either I can go with overtime or I can go with expand. Any of these two. Okay. So but ultimately what do I get at this decision point? How much do I get? I get 55. Right, 55,000 rupees. Now let us come to second level, that is the building large and the demand is low. Either I can do nothing or I can reduce the price. Which of them is having higher pay of 50,000? So this 10,000 has to be rejected because this is its payoff is less. So I will select the reducing the price option because its payoff is higher. So how much do I get at this junction? I get 50,000 rupees. Okay. Now I have to calculate the amount that I get at this node now. At this node and at this node. But see here, one demand is high, the payoff is 55,000. Demand is low, the payoff is 40,000. Okay. In this case, I cannot consider 55 directly because there is a probability of high demand is only 60%. There is also a probability of low demand with 40%. Since both are possible, that is why it is a chance event. See, it's a chance event. Whereas here it was a decision. There was no chance, there was no probability. That's why I could directly consider the option which was giving me highest. Whereas here it's not the case like that. In order to get the value at this round node or the chance event node, I have to consider both the probabilities. So how to calculate that? If I want to consider both the probabilities, how to calculate that? It's very simple. See here, it is 40 into 0.4. That is, what is the 40 is the payoff. What is the probability? 0.4 plus 0.6 into 55. 60% is the probability, 0.6, 55 is the payoff at this node. So this into this, multiply these two, plus this into this. That's all. Add that. How much do you get? 49. So that is the total value at this node. Node 1. You call it as a node 1, 49. Now similarly calculate the total value at this node, node 2. How much? So it is 40% into 50. Multiply these two. Similarly multiply these two. 70 into 0.60. 0.6. How much do you get? 62. So now if you build large, what is the value, monetary value? 62,000 rupees. If you build small, what is the monetary value? 49,000 rupees. So now which one do we choose? We choose that particular option in order to maximize the expected monetary value. Which option is giving me higher monetary value? Building large is giving me higher monetary value, 62,000 rupees. So that will be selected. Which is selected? Build large is selected. Build small is rejected. So that is the decision I am taking. Finally, you have to write the answer. Since building large unit yields higher monetary benefits or higher monetary value, building the large video arcade is suggested, or manager should construct a large video arcade. Once you say that, your answer is over. This is how it appears. Everything I have already explained, and whatever we have discussed till now, all those things are written in lines. Okay, you have to indicate lines. You have to solve the problem. After drawing the decision tree, you have to solve the problem using various steps like this, and finally you have to give the conclusion. Hence the choice should be to build the large facility because it has a larger expected value than the small facility. See, this line will give you 1 mark or 2 marks sometimes. If you forget this line, you will lose 1 or 2 marks. Don't forget to write the answer. Okay, so you may solve everything, but you forget this, then you will lose 1 or 2 marks. Please remember that. Okay, don't forget that. Without forgetting, write the final answer. Let us take the second example. Okay, a company is deciding whether to develop and launch a new product. R&D costs are expected to be $4 lakh, and there is a 70% chance that the product launch will be successful and 30% chance that it will fail. If it is successful, the levels of the expected profits and the probabilities are as shown below. Okay, and if it is a failure, there is a probability that the research and development work can be sold for $50,000. 40% probability that it will be worth nothing at all. Okay, and what are the different probabilities? If it is a high probability, then the probability of getting a high demand or high successful is 20%, medium success is 50%, and low success is 30%. If it is high means success is high means you will be able to get $5 lakh per annum for 2 years. If it is a medium success, $4 lakh in 2 years, and if it is a low success means $3 lakh in 2 years. Okay, Let us put that into a decision tree. How does it come? See here, first, do not develop the product. Okay, that was the first option. Or develop a product. Either you can choose to develop a product, you will get nothing. See, you will get nothing. Or you can develop a product, and what are the probabilities? Either you can taste success or you can taste failure. Getting the success is 70% probability, getting the failure is 30% probability. So if you do not develop a product, no other decision needs to be taken. It's over. It's a dead end. And you won't get anything also. You won't incur any loss, you won't get any profit. Forget it. So it is zero. So if you develop a product, either you can succeed or you can fail. If you succeed, okay, it could be a high success or a medium success or a low success. Okay, since here it is success or failure, again it's a chance event, it is round node here. Okay, and again if it is success, then the success could be high or medium or low, then again it's a chance event. See, that's why it's a round node. So probability of high success is 20%, probability of medium success is 50%, probability of low success is 30%. If it is a high success, the yield is 10 lakh dollars or $1 million, that is 5 lakh into 2. Medium success, 4 lakh into 2, that is 8 lakhs. 3 lakhs into 2, that is 6 lakhs. Whatever the data we had, it was for 1 year. So now since it is for 2 years, I have to calculate, I have to multiply it by 2. 10 lakh, 8 lakh and 6 lakhs. Similarly, coming to the failure probability, if it fails, see, sell the work. Okay, you can sell the work at $50,000. So you tried your level best, you did not succeed, you failed, and finally what you can do? You can sell the work and get $50,000. Or else it's worth nothing and nobody is there to purchase your product and you get nothing. Okay, but the probability of selling the work is high at 60%, and probability of nobody is ready to purchase your R&D center is 40%. Okay, now let us analyze. First one, let us calculate the EV at A, that is the expected value at A. What is the expected value at A? 20% into 1 lakh plus 50% into 8 lakhs plus 30% into 6 lakhs, and that comes out to be $7,80,000. You indicate that here. Now let us calculate the expected value at B. How much is that? Expected value at B is 0.6 into 50,000, that is 60% probability into 50,000 plus 40% probability into 0. You are not getting anything, it is worth nothing. So the total expected value is 30,000 rupees. Okay, so it is 30,000 here. So you have got 7,80,000 here and $30,000 here. Now let us calculate the expected value at C. Again it's a chance event at C. See, either it could be 70% of 7,80,000 plus 30% of 30,000, whatever I have got here, and totally it is 5,55,000. Okay, and now product development cost is, as it has already been indicated, it is totally 4 lakh rupees, and the expected value at C is 5,55,000. Now what decision I have to take? That is the question now. Let us analyze that. So what did we get? Expected value at A was $7,80,000, expected value at B was $30,000, and expected value at C was $5,55,000, and the production cost of R&D is $4 lakh. Okay. Now, if I start the product, start the R&D center, develop the product there, what is that I am going to get? I am going to get 5,55,000. If I do not start the product at all, am I going to get anything? No, I am not going to get anything. So what is the profit? Am I incurring profit or am I incurring loss? I have spent $4 lakh and I am getting $5,55,000. So this is the profit plus 1,55,000. Earnings or the revenue is more than what has been spent. So what should I do? Should I continue with it or should I not continue with it? If I do not start the R&D product, I get nothing. If I start the R&D product, I will get at least $1,55,000. So what should be your recommendation? The recommendation can be made to the management, develop the product, because the expected value of the profit is 1,55,000. If you had got a negative answer here, then the recommendation should have been don't start, because you are incurring loss. Okay, this is how we make the decision, by taking all the uncertainties. So many uncertainties were there. See, the success rate could be high or medium or low. The probability of high success is 20%, probability of medium success is 50%, probability of low success is 30%, and all these uncertainties have been taken care here. Okay, and finally I have arrived at a decision wherein I get a profit of 1,55,000, and hence I am recommending this to the management to start the R&D center and develop the product. Let us take the third example. Okay, a retailer must decide whether to build a small or large facility. Same thing, demand can be either low or high with a probability of 40% or 60%. If a small facility is built and the demand proves to be high, the manager may choose not to expand. Since the demand is high, he may either choose still not to expand or to expand. The payoff will be higher. If the small facility is built, demand is low, then there is no point in expanding that, payoff will remain at 2 lakh rupees. If a large facility is built, the demand is low, the choice is to do nothing. That means retain it, because demand is low, wait for some time, the payoff will be 40,000. Or advertise, do some either modest advertise or sizable advertise, again two probabilities with 30% and 70%. If it is the payoff, if it is the payoff 20,000, then the sizable, it is 2,20,000 higher. If you build a large facility and the demand is high, then it's the best, the payoff is 8 lakh rupees. Draw the decision tree. Okay, let us draw the decision tree now. See, this is the decision tree. Take the problem and analyze it. See, a retailer must design whether to build a small or large facility. First, build a small or large facility. Demand could be either low or high. Either it could be low demand or it could be high demand. Low demand, high demand. See here, low demand, high demand. Low demand, high demand. Construct step by step so that you can understand it very easily. Next, go to next stage. If a small facility is built and the demand proves to be high, the manager may choose not to expand. See, small facility, demand is high. Okay, again there is a decision point here. Okay, this is the decision point. Either he can expand or he may not do anything. Okay, You may not to expand or to expand. Two possibilities. Okay. If he doesn't expand, payoff is 2,23,000. If he expands, 2,70,000. Whatever the value is given, indicate that here. So these two line ends. Now, if a small facility is built and demand is low, where is that? Small facility is here, demand is low. What is the payoff? There is no reason to expand. Payoff is 2 lakh rupees over. Indicate that. It is 200 into 1000. They are given in terms of 1000. That's why last 3 digits are not indicated. And now if a large facility is built and the demand is low, large facility is built, demand is low here. Okay. Again you have the choice to do nothing or to advertise. Okay, to do nothing or to advertise. Decision point. See, square no. And if you go with do nothing, the ends, but the line ends. But if you advertise that, again you have two options, either modest or sizable. Again a chance event. See, round note. If you choose to advertise, either you can go with modest response or sizable response. Probability of 30% with modest, 70% with sizable. And write the payoffs. If it is the modest, then the payoff is 20,000. If it is sizable, payoff is 2,20,000. Okay. And if you do nothing, the payoff is 40,000. That's already indicated here. Payoff is 40,000. Indicate that here. And finally, the demand is high and the large facility is built. What is remaining? Demand is high, large facility is built. The payoff is 8 lakh rupees. All the payoffs have been indicated. Now I have to see which option must be selected and what is the payoff at the end. Okay, let us analyze that now. First, let us start with what is the total value of monetary value of this 30% into 20. So let us calculate the expected value at this node first. Okay, how to calculate the expected value at that node? First, 30% into 20,000. This is 70% into 2,20,000. So what will be expected value here? 6 plus 154, that is 160,000 into 1,000. $160,000 or rupees or whatever it is. Okay, $1,60,000. So that is the expected value at this node. Okay, now let us select the next. Which is the next one? 160 has been selected. See, out of this 160 and 40, if I advertise, I will get 160. If I do nothing, I get only 40. Which one should be selected? 160 must be selected because it gives the higher value for me. So cancel this or neglect that. Go with 160. So value at node 3 will be 160. That will be shifted to here. So the value at node 3 is 160. Indicate that. Now you have selected the option of, if at all, if you select large facility and the demand is low, then you need to prefer advertise with sizable, you need to advertise. Okay, then the payoff is 160. Next, let us come to the upper portion of the tree. What is that? Either you can go with small facility and the demand is high. Either you can you expand or not to expand. Okay. Now, which is higher payoff? Expanding has a higher payoff. 270. Select this. Delete this. So 270 is selected. Now 270. This is the expected value of second node, and what is the probability of getting 270? Only 60%. So what will be the value at node, this particular chance node? That we will calculate. How much? 200 into 0.4 plus 270 into 0.6. So it is 270 into 0.6, that is 162. 200 into 0.4, 80. So finally it is 80 plus 162, 242. 242 is selected there. That is the value at the round node, or the second, that is the chance node. Next, let us come to lower portion again, because again here again this is done. Okay, this node's value is 242. I have to calculate the expected value of this node, right? Let us try to understand how to calculate that. So now I have two values here. One $160 yielding and another one yielding $800,000. So what is the probability of getting $800,000? 60%. Probability of getting $160,000 is 40%. So what is the expected value or economic value at this node? It is 0.4 into 160 plus 0.6 into 800. Indicate that here. 0.4 into 160 plus 800 into 0.6, add them, and that will be 544. Right? That will be 544. So now what are the values? At this node it is 242. At the bottom node it is 544. So what should I do now? Which is giving me higher value? This large facility is giving me higher value at $544,000. Upper building a small facility will give me only $242,000. So what should I choose? I should choose the large facility. So compare these two, gives the higher value, select the large facility. 544, and finally neglect that and select the large facility. Thank you. So in this part we discussed about decision tree analysis, but none of them had the discounted cash flow. It was a direct decision tree analysis. We moved from end to beginning, a backward analysis we have done. So that's what you need to understand. Okay, so I hope everything is clear to you. Thank you all.